Homestead OC here. This is chickens week 13, and stalking one of my favorite hens so far. She is getting pretty big. Almost think she could be a rooster because she's of a Buff Orpington Welsomer mix, but she should have quite a big comb if in fact she is a rooster. But she is growing quite a bit. I'm gonna try and get a better shot. They are all pretty big, and I've got a barbecue at work in a couple days, and I'm kind of looking to test out my slaughtering skills on a big one. Perhaps that one or that one. I want it to be a rooster, just because I think some of them are starting to crow. Well, I know some of them are starting to crow, and the quieter we can keep it, the better, and the roosters are going to be the bigger ones, and the earlier I can slaughter them, the better. So, kind of looking around, trying to figure out which one. There's some that look bigger than others, but I think it's more deceptive because of the feathers. But one of the Jersey Giant mixes should do very nicely. And you might have known from my earlier videos, but I have never slaughtered a chicken before. So I wanted to do it, do one, see how that goes, and then if all goes well, we'll do a big batch. This is Biff Tannen, our resident rooster. He is a big dude. He's heavy, he's big, he's fluffy, and I like him. He doesn't crow that much, and he's gonna be very good with our ladies and breeding the next batch of Buff Orpington chicks. I'm going to be keeping all the Buff Welsomer crosses. They're not as wide as the straight Buff Orpingtons are, but I think they might bulk out later on. I like the way they look, and they're kind of, kind of a mix. Like add something special in there. Here's one of them right here. One of my favorite birds. They're very docile. The Welsomer hen that I have is also very docile, and the brother is the one who fathered all of these. They've been drinking lots of water. We've been having heat wave after heat wave here in Southern California, Orange County. I've had to fill the 55-gallon barrel. The water over here, you can kind of see it right between those feed tubes there. I've had to fill it twice in 2 weeks, once before we went on vacation, and as soon as I got back after 10 days, it was pretty much empty. Maybe after 11 days. So they've been drinking extra water. I've had it, I think they were dry for maybe half a day, and I felt kind of bad about that because there's no other source of water here on the property. This barrel here is pretty low to the ground, and that's empty now. That was for our baby chick as it was coming up. I'm going to top that off today, and so our baby chick we have one, and everyone needs water. I've seen them as they get older. They'll stand on the water pipe here and reach their head all the way under and get that water out, which is pretty cool when I saw it. So if you're thirsty enough, you'll pretty much do anything. One thing I've been thinking about doing is some BioChar. As you can see, I've I've got quite a few big piles of dead stuff, and it's been drying for quite a long time. This is stuff that was too gnarly to go in the hugelkultur or the chipper, and my chipper's actually out of commission. The blades are still good, but my intake, or my exhaust, my little exhaust pipe or exhaust box on, oh, look at this guy, Biff. Biff is not tolerating any new juvenile roosters. He's showing them what's up, who's boss. So that's yeah. That might be one of the roosters I think about butchering, just to get rid of the competition here. Biff had just gotten established as the dominant rooster, and the hens have all recognized him as such. There's maybe one that's not all the way on board. She still sees me as the dominant figure in the flock, which I am, don't get me wrong, but they need to recognize Biff as, you know, the one doing the thing 90% of the time, and I'm just walking around here checking out things. They're pretty much left to their own devices. Anyway, like I was saying, lots of brush piles here, and been doing a lot of research on making biochar different ways. Seems like the most efficient way to get the most biochar per mass of wood that you have is to make it all uniform sizes, and then pyrolysis, pyrolysis, I think it's pyrolysis, pyrolysis, and that will cook off all the cellulose and moisture left over in these logs and turn it into pure carbon. The downside of that is that you need wood on the outside to burn it, whereas there's some methods where you just put everything in a barrel and it is top lit under draft method, which looks pretty good too, but a lot of the results I was seeing on YouTube are not as great, as you don't get as much, and it's not as good quality as the rocket mass heater, rocket stove version, which I like, and it seems like it's kind of an easier way to do it. It just seems that maybe you're using more wood than you need to with the other way, and you can do more at a time. So you can do a full 55-gallon barrel with the top lit underdraft, and with the 55-gallon with a 30 or 35 gallon inside, you're only getting 30 or 35 gallons worth of biochar material in there. Anyway, I'm just kind of gonna, maybe I'll try both and we'll see how that does. Got a couple things pop up around here. These are, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a tomato plant, and they're just volunteers. I have another one over here by one of my plum trees, and the chickens haven't found the fruits yet, but I'm okay if they do find them. You know, when they go red, I'll grab some, and if they grab some first, then that's okay too. We don't eat a lot of tomatoes around here, but we do eat a lot of tomato sauce and spaghetti and whatnot, so it'd be nice to make our own. This is one of their favorite areas back here. I've come back here before in previous videos, but this is where I dumped a lot of my clay from digging out my little hugel bed, my hugel raised bed for my annuals. There's a lot of squash in there, and then this is also where I dug out well, I dug the hole here and got a lot of the topsoil, the little forest compost mix that I have going back here, and then I filled it in with the clay. And so far, the chickens haven't really got into this. I was hoping that they would be dust bathing in this. It is still a little bit lumpy, and as you can see, they're digging up around the trees here, which is fine. I don't like it so much where they're digging up around my new fruit trees, but so far it hasn't caused any ill effects. There's a lot of room here to get in and for them to cool down, and you can see here there's some little top feeder roots that have been pulled out, and this is a pretty thick trunk here. This is one of the stronger, more rigid trees that I got. These were all bare root, and this one was just a monster when I got it, and it's grown quite a bit. It's a really healthy tree. It's just not growing in the exact direction that I want it to. So I'll probably do a video later on of some pruning of all these. I don't want to prune it too much in the summer because of our heat waves, and I think it needs more of the growth for shading the tree. But as soon as the season turns and we start getting some cooler days, then we'll go ahead and hit that up. There's a few that I started with, and before I got to this property, we were planning on living on a much smaller property, a third of the size of this, and I was training trees as an espalier. So this is one of those. It's apricot, and I do want to do an espalier row along this wall here, but it's not going to be with deciduous trees. I want it to be with evergreen trees. So I'm probably going to be doing some citrus, some loquat, some cherimoya, atamoya, a lot of the tropical stuff that I might not be eating a lot of, but will be a good privacy hedge. I had kind of a wild hedge through here, and a lot of it's coming back, but some of it's just too close to the wall, and it's starting to make the wall buckle. Anyway, kind of getting a little off topic here. Main idea is the chickens, and they love it out here. There's a lot of these are the veterans that you can see there. There's one newbie, another one here. She's looking really good. She's like all black, which is surprising because the Welsimer, who's her dad, was not black, but her mom was, so you can kind of see a little brown coloring coming in there, but her beak and her face is all black, which is kind of neat. It's a hot day today. It's about 95, and back here I'd say we're right around 80 or 85 back in the shade of this little forest canopy. Here's one thing that you might not think that chickens would like, but they really like succulents, and I'm guessing it's because they're full of moisture. They're full of water here, so might make it a tasty snack. And they've pretty much eaten the head off of every one that they could reach. I wish they would start attacking this one, because this one's getting a little overgrown, and I don't like trimming things if I don't have to. I'd rather let the chickens do it. But maybe I can cut a few of those heads off and toss them in the coop for them. Let's see if we can find some more chickens, and then we'll let you be on your way. This video's already become a little long, but I really like walking through the forest here and finding their little hangouts where they like to be. We got a lot of growth coming up here from all the trees I cut down and trimmed back. I don't water back here at all. This is what's left, hopefully will hang on, of my persimmon tree. There's a couple leaves that are still hanging on, but it got scorched pretty good in our last couple heat waves. This is also one of the trees I was training for in Espalier. Here's our cherry. They got pretty scorched. I'm surprised and happy that some new growth has come back, and it's really coming back to life. And you can see the chickens are doing a lot of digging around here, but I made the mulch pretty deep, so they would probably not get to the bottom of it. This is a peach that just didn't make it. I'm pretty sure it's gone, but we're just gonna let it hang on. Here's a couple of our Buff Orpingtons. This one here is the one I was talking about earlier. It's not accepting Biff as the Lord Rooster of the coop. But she is a really nice hen, very docile, really good looking bird. Was having some trouble with some egg production, but I think she's on the older side, and the eggs out of her are really big, but the shells are kind of thin, and I'm hoping that's going to pick up once she is more integrated in this flock and start eating everything that these guys are eating, because everybody else is doing just fine. So I think it might just have been a problem with the feed. But she's a good hen. She's heavy. She's very friendly to me and my two boys, so that's nice. But that's kind of what all of the Buff Orpingtons are. Here's our Welsomer hen. Most of our chicks, or pullets, chickens, whatever we got now, are from her brother. And there's one that looks just like her, so I think it might have been a brother-sister cross, but it's not 100% like her. It looks more like it could be an Americana mix, but she doesn't have the beard. Well, anyway, that's all for this week. Please stay tuned for next week, week 14. If I happen to slaughter one, I'll make sure and get a video of that, see how that goes. If I mess it up, then you might not see it, or if I change my mind about doing it, then you might not see it either. But eventually there's going to be one, so please stay tuned for that if you're interested. Again, this is my hula bed talked about earlier. It's doing pretty good. The squash is taken off, and I'm going to have to remove that cover and maybe just slide it back so it's just over part of it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, there you go. There's a treat. Japanese beetles beware. The chickens are about. Thank you. Have a great day.